In this video, I'll be taking your lovely suggestions for wholesome Pikmin art and making them into reality. I'm excited to see all the pure and innocent ideas you all come up with, like Pikmin bouncing on bubbles, very joyous, or
Pikmin getting torn apart mercilessly by a Bulborb. Their captain is nowhere near. They stand no chance. They attempt to fight back. In response, the Bulborb simply gobbles them up. After a one-sided battle, the Bulborb stands victorious. Now Pikmin remain not very joyous.
or
The yellow Pikmin trying to power an electric line, watching in horror as their Pikmin friends get thoroughly electrocuted and twitching semi-violently on the floor, dying a slow and painful death from the violet sparks shutting down all of their nerves from the muscles to their internal organs to the brain. Only moving from the aforementioned sparks, they lose all signs of life and make it a peaceful corpse and turn into Pikmin.
Louis exclaims on the side. Okay, maybe those weren't the most wholesome suggestions, but you know what, they were quite funny to read, so thanks for leaving them anyway. However, the comments I chose to make into illustrations today are a little bit more, welcoming? Inviting? In other words, not gruesome or disturbing. Like the first comment I chose, coming from user BlueSharky38, which reads, "Oh, how about some Pikmin riding atop a Bulbmin?" Which to me sounded like it would make a super cute visual, so that's what I picked. Let's get started. So you may be noticing something a little different about my art style. In today's video, I wanted to try something new. Well, new to my YouTube channel, old to me personally. All the illustrations in today's video will be made using pixel art. It's a style I'm very familiar with. From around the end of 2020 to the beginning of 2022, it was the only style I really drew in. I've since branched out and started illustrating in a more painterly style again. However, pixel art will always have a special place in my heart. With that being said, this video serves as a fun, lighthearted nostalgia trip for me. Who knows, if you all seem to like this style, maybe I'll start drawing like this more often. Anywho, back to the video at hand. Instead of drawing a Bulbmin in action, with Pikmin haphazardly clinging onto it, I decided to draw a more serene composition, with a Bulbmin sleeping atop a raised rock in the center of a golden field. Accompanying him is his friend, Mr. Yellow Pikmin. In my mind, the yellow Pikmin agree to stay awake and keep watch for any patrolling predators, whilst Mr. Bulby gets some shut-eye. I'd love to imagine them as an unlikely duo that work together to survive the harsh environments of PNF 404. Overall, I love how this piece turned out. I just think the colors fit that peaceful vibe I was going for, and the friendship on display is heartwarming to me. But what do you think? The next drawing I chose came from the user Monk Want Hugs, which reads, "A Pikmin ascending and becoming the ultimate Pikmin." First, by the way. First things first, thank you for being first to comment. I appreciate the quickness, I really do. Secondly, I love the idea of an ultimate Pikmin. When I read this comment, I thought to myself, what would an ultimate Pikmin even look like? Would it contain features from every Pikmin that came before it? It had to be a Pikmin whose strength would be unmatched, and whose defenses would be the most solid. Then the realization hit me. We already have the ultimate Pikmin, the Bulbmin. Okay, just kidding. Well, kinda. They're second strongest, as they contain defensive traits to all elemental hazards, but lack a certain punishing move. No, the most ultimate Pikmin is, you guessed it, the glow Pikmin. These green little guys are so adorable to me, I had to draw one. I feel like the glow Pikmin are underappreciated a little bit by the fandom. However, I understand why, as you can only use them during the controversial nighttime mode, or in caves as backup, please save me, half of my squad is dead already type Pikmin. But when I stopped to think about them, I realized they are so unique and cool. The way they can form into a large ball of light and blast and stun enemies is super useful. Not to mention, they are also immune to all elemental hazards. Plus, I may be biased, but green is my favorite color. Overall, I'm not sure if this is what you were thinking, Monk Want Hugs, when you wrote this comment, but to me, glow Pikmin were the clear ultimate Pikmin. As for the illustration itself, I chose to draw a glow Pikmin majestically rising from a neon green bonfire, as its Pikmin brethren gaze upon it in wonder. Let me know your thoughts on this drawing below. The next comment I chose to draw for today's video comes from Dominic D. Stefano, and it reads, "Make a Pikmin that really wants to get a treasure, but they can't reach it, so a winged Pikmin lifts them up to get the treasure." This idea just seemed like it'd make a really cute visual as well, so I gave it a shot. I wish there were canon instances of winged Pikmin carrying other Pikmin to higher places. I've actually drawn something like this in the past, multiple times, as it's an idea I'm very fond of. Once when illustrating the concept art for the Sparkwisp enemy I created, and another in the concept art of the burrowing Flukewhip enemy as well. For this illustration, I wanted to draw a very warm environment, completely dominated by the colors orange and yellow. I chose to draw the Pikmin in a desert scene with an icy boy really wanting a strawberry. Oh, my bad. I mean sunseed berry. But looking back on it now, maybe drawing an ice Pikmin in the desert isn't the best scenario as they likely melt, but let's look past that for now. Also, while drawing this sunseed berry, I was really struggling for it not to look horrendous and ugly. I spent a lot longer on it than I'd care to admit, but in the end, I hope it came together nicely. So here's the third illustration all complete. As you can see, to add the finishing touches to all my pixel art pieces, I enjoy blurring out sections of the background to make the piece a lot more dynamic and interesting. Also, the super crisp edges of the large pixels contrasting with the softened, out of focus background makes the piece look all the more HD, and that makes me happy. For the fourth drawing of today's video, I chose the comment from user Capurio Calriuso, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, which reads, "Blue Pikmin on a paper boat in the sun." This seemed incredibly cute and wholesome to me, so it's a winner, baby. As you'd expect with this prompt, I chose to make the color blue the dominant force in this piece. I wanted to draw a blue Pikmin as the captain of a tiny paper boat, completely decked out in pirate gear. In the eyes of the Pikmin, he's crossing the great Atlantic Ocean, with nothing but the open waters in front of him and the sun on his back. However, in reality, he's most likely just floating in some small pond in somebody's backyard. I enjoy his little outfit and telescope. I feel like it would make for a good Pikmin Bloom outfit. What do you think? Pirate decor Pikmin when you play the app at the beach? It's a pretty solid idea in my opinion. Does anyone still play that game, by the way? Anyways, as you can see, I ended up adding a crewmate to the scene as the blue Pikmin alone didn't make for the best composition. Would you join these two on their maritime adventures? Alrighty, we have reached the final drawing of today's video, but before that, I do want to remind you all to like the video if you're enjoying it so far, and if you aren't already, please become a member of the Paracosm party by clicking subscribe below. Also, I actually picked a sixth comment to draw, and there's a video of me drawing it on my Patreon. If you'd like to sign up, you'll be able to view that exclusive illustration and video, as well as others I've made in the past. All 6 4K pixel illustrations will be available for download. Click the link in the description to find my Patreon. And a very special, huge, ginormous thank you to my current patrons, Peter and Jane McDonough, Rabu Raboot, Dead Astro, and Brand Gamer 1512. And not to mention my amazing channel member, Kids Wyatt. You're super cool and special as you're my first and only channel member at the moment. You rock. Your guys' support means the absolute world to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart, friends. Okay, let's move on. The last comment I chose for today's video comes from user Mona Brandy 1004, which reads, Pikmin dancing with groovy long legs at night. This comment was actually the most thumbs up by you all in the post I made asking for suggestions, so it was only right that I drew this one. Although I made every illustration at the same aspect ratio of 192 pixels by 108 pixels. I know super random numbers, but it's just the ratio of a 4K drawing scaled down by like a million. Okay, not a million, but a lot. All this to say that this drawing in particular was the most detailed. Drawing Groovy Long Legs, a spherical boss with lots of spherical lights, was a little tricky to do in pixel art, but I tried my best. Also, since the boss is quite large, I had to draw the Pikmin at a further distance away from the camera to fit the scene properly. The further the Pikmin are though, the less detailed I'm able to make them, as at this aspect ratio, the pixels themselves are quite large. So if you see some of them looking a little wonky, that's why. Groovy Long Legs is probably my favorite new boss from Pikmin 4, and honestly, one of my all-time favorite Pikmin bosses in general. It was one of the only times in that game that I genuinely lost lots of Pikmin to a boss, and to me, that's awesome. I love a challenging, difficult enemy, as most of you already know by now. Plus, the soundtrack to this boss is absolutely insane, which makes it brilliant. Well, here's the finished piece. I tried my best to get all those disco lights looking right. It was also a little tricky to do in pixel art, but I think overall the end result works well. Okay friends, that's been all the drawings for today's video. Please leave your suggestions for more wholesome Pikmin art in the comments below. Actually, maybe in the next installment I'll choose some not so wholesome comments, as in my previous post there seemed to be a plethora of those. So please leave me whatever kind of idea you'd like to see. My next video should be featuring a very familiar face in the Pikmin community, so look forward to that, and remember, you're a star. Shine bright in every room you're in. Remember it. Okay, much love, Paracosm.